post now, we all kind of realize it because I was kind of in it myself. The drill era, nobody knew the name.
No one knew what
like
that was going to be.
14, 15.
Bro, come on. I remember listening to GQ for the first time and not understanding what that would do to the world. You know what I'm saying?
Then like 17, we started to realize, oh no, that was the time, and we're out of it now.
And now we gotta claim it. Like, and now we claim it so hard because of that shit. Man, come on, let's dive into it. You ready for this episode?
Yeah.
What is up, and welcome back to another episode of the Miseducation of Music. You are here with J-Treb as always, but today I got a special guest in the building, man. Today we had to change it up from the artist interviews and we had to bring a producer in the building. So today I have the producer in the building, Wildlife Willy, man. Say what's up to the people.
What's up, guys?
Man, look, now we were just chopping it up before we got on camera, and we had to dive right in because I'm now just so curious, man, because I love the way your mental works, and I just want to give everybody who's watching a little backstory, man. You are producing for everybody in the city right now. Like, I feel like every time I look up, you with another name in the city, you going crazy, man. I got to give you your flowers off jump just for that, man. It's so dope, man. The grind you're doing is paying off from my perspective.
Cool.
Now, G, I love to ask people when it starts off. Well, first, I do like tell people my first exposure. And I think I started hearing about you, I want to say it was early pandemic times, but then it was almost like I couldn't like go to another song without hearing the Wildlife tag. And I'm going to pronounce his name wrong because my homie Kiko put me on, and I can't pronounce it. I think it's Scony?
Yeah, One Sunny.
One Sunny. Yeah. Come on, man. Okay, I knew I was going to pronounce it wrong because I've never had to read it out loud, but I've been listening for a while because my homie Kiko put me on. And then I was like, oh, I know this tag. I think this beat goes with this one, and then like now I'm hearing it over on like KO. I'm hearing it on the SAR tracks, and I'm like, this is Wildlife Willy. This is the same producer that I was hearing back in the day on these other beats. So it's so dope just to, have like seen that part of your career and to see how dope it is that I'm like watching you like damn near go so crazy with every artist. But how'd you get started in this, man?
We gonna have to take this back.
We gotta take it back, man. We gotta go back.
09.
09.
As a rapper.
Thank you. Okay, that was in my notes, man.
Cool Kids, Our Future, and Rocky Fresh were the reasons why I started kind of going.
Got it.
Because I seen I just like the sonics of things and stuff like that. And Kids These Days.
Oh yes, come on! Shout out Vic Mensa. That's a throwback.
That was the moment.
If you know, you know.
Yeah, pretty much. I still have my CD.
Oh man, shout out, G.
The first
I remember that whole time period, just being in the city, guerrilla marketing from all of these people. You could really go get a ticket out of the hands of somebody like Vic Mensa.
Lane Tech, like McDonald's, he was like outside,
bro,
like you could
really
see, bro,
go
and
see
he was selling
artists.
CDs and stuff. It was crazy.
I think and I don't even think that, and I feel like that today's, just to take a little tangent, but today's like internet age doesn't seem like you get that same love. Yeah. Maybe there's an equivalent. Maybe there's like for all the early people who got into these artists, they get followed back, their DMs get replied to. Maybe that's the same as when we used to see the artists pop up like at the high school. You got to go down to this store to get the tickets, or lining up for like an album listening. Like maybe it's the same for them in that way.
I can see that. I kind of see it. It's the same, but in a weird way. It's not the same because you don't have that physical, like the physicalness of it, where it's like you feel more invested in it.
Yeah, I feel so invested in Chicago artists because of like the hands I shook. Like I remember getting love from like Smino after a Kyle show he popped up on, and this is before all the other music's blowing up. So I'm like, no, I feel connected, like for life. Like now I'm a fan forever, And they really laid that groundwork in the city. But like obviously it was inspiring you at this time, my G. 09, is this the first time you tried to be a rapper?
Yeah.
Okay.
And lunchroom, there was rapping and stuff, and then I ended up rapping with a bunch of them. Then we ended up in a group, 6 of us on some Wu-Tang thing.
You said Odd Future, and I was going to ask if there was a rap group involved.
Yes, there was
a rap group. Because
people
who say Odd Future, they usually got involved with a couple homies.
Yeah, it was like 6 of us. From there, it was pretty much just kind of my love for Sonic started happening. I started becoming I started off as a rapper, which would end up I had to record everybody at my house.
Oh, so it was like I'm rapper and I'm the engineer.
Yeah.
Now you said this is your first time rapping and you end up in a rap group with your homies. Was there ever like an in-between time where you were writing down raps and not showing anybody, or was it just like from rip you were like, nope, I'm gonna get better as I go?
No, I'm gonna get better as I go.
Okay.
I just kind of off rip was like, I'm gonna just start writing.
We just gonna keep going, bro. That's what's up. Much. That's really dope. That kind of like sets the tone for you, like not really having that much fear with your art.
Yeah, pretty much. I just kind of knew music would be a thing. And then from there, it would end up us like me personally being like, we gotta go to the studio, guys. We gotta start.
Well, I know you had the whole workload on you. Yeah. I can imagine you'd be like, hey man, we need somebody else.
But it wasn't even that. I just knew sonically, like the mixes are rough. I know we can do better if we go like, let's get our money together and stuff like that. From there, we started to weed out people who didn't want to pay for studio time because
that'll let you know who's real, who's ready to invest.
So it became a duo.
Damn, 6-2.
Yeah, and then the reason why we became a duo was because we were the only two people producing. Because that would end up being a group, and then I would have to make beats because I was the only one who had enough time, because I was still in college at the time, and I had enough time. I didn't work, so I had enough time to like, I'll learn how to make beats. And then I went through Ableton, Logic, then FL, and then
we
FL.
breaking into some softwares that I remember fumbling around in college. Now, hold on, let's take a little pause here because I want to ask, it's like, what time period is it that you start making these beats? Is this 09 too, like when you're starting?
This is
when the group is like getting going, and you're like,
pretty much it's
going to
be done. No, the day I started kind of making beats, about 2-3 months later, like we kind of disbanded.
Okay. What's the inspiration? What's the inspiration around the 2014? Oh man, this is right before like DJ Mustard Summers, bro. Like, what was the beat sounding like at this time?
So this is pretty much the reason why I started was 3 people. Party Next Door, Metro Boomin, and Clams Casino.
Whoa!
I might have to add 40 in there a little bit because now I look hindsight that my cousin was telling me, you was like,
in what ways do you think 40 was influenced?
Just because a lot of like my cousin, especially because we used to buy CDs and stuff. He said, "Nah, you would like listen to Drake a lot, bro."
Yeah,
like,
because maybe it was like sequencing popping out and things like that. Because 40 does have a signature. Like he's got like when you hear it, you're like, oh shit. Like I mean, even when I think back to like the Take Care album, you can see when like 40 touched
like
on
that stuff like that.
You're like, oh, that track right there, that's 40 all day. They locked in together.
But like at the time, the way I was making beats, that was not good. But it was kind of more cloud rap stuff though.
Okay.
I was really going into more cloud rap, kind of Clams Casino. I can't really say this, like Lil B, ASAP Rocky, Lucky, Rob Banks kind of style.
So is this like, this is sounding like you probably had a lot of heavy instruments, low end, sounding nice.
Pretty much, yeah.
Like, that's really cool. So that getting involved, did you have any musical background before that? Did you know anything about chord progression, structures?
Yes. I was in choir class. I had taken flute classes while I was in grammar school, and what probably musically inclined was when I took choir class in high school. And they would teach us like keys
it gets a little serious around there.
And then it was only like a handful of us.
That's what's up. So you did have some musical background.
Yeah, and then we had to learn keys and stuff. Like, bro was not playing. Like, we had to learn keys, and we had to learn. He was not folded.
He was like, you will be well-rounded musicians when you leave this class.
Pretty much, like, and then. But still, I didn't take it serious. We in high school. I didn't think music was going to be... I didn't think I was going in producing. Yeah. So I like took some of it, but in hindsight,
it's crazy because now you look back, you're like, bro, man, if I could have got good with the voice.
I had to relearn all that again.
But it's like, bro, I hate when I have those moments where I look back and go, man, if I would just paid attention a little bit more, you know, I could be going stupid right now. I wouldn't have had to waste the time relearning shit.
Yeah.
That's dope as hell, though. So these early beats are coming through, and it's like Clams Casino vibe. I'm assuming this is around also the time that you're saying you're switching over to using the real studio. So you got real studio time going. Your beats are going through those speakers. How's that feeling at that time? Like, because, I mean, you're still a rapper. Was this around the time of the switch over to just producing?
Yeah.
What kind of put that bug on you?
Writing stopped being fun for me. It started to be homework. It's like, I'm forced to do this because we in a duo and I'm paying studio time, so I have to write my verse because I'm paying for this. Producing was starting to be like, I'm doing this like I'm staying up.
This is where I feel creative. The other one feels like I'm forcing it.
Yeah, pretty much. And like I would just stay up, make beats, and I just kept making beats, and it was just like, bro, you just like. I just made 50 beats today.
Just madman with it, bro. Kanye, 5 beats a day for 3 songs.
Pretty much, real.
Go crazy, G. Now, that's so awesome. When you noticed you were a producer, did you break off the duo? Did that become a single? And then you immediately just start making beats for just one person? Or were you like, I got so many beats, I was just selling them from jump?
It really was a conversation of like, yeah, bro, I'm not rapping no more. I like knew it. I was in there. The engineer that was with us, he'd been around with us for a while. So he was like, oh, wow, you really? And I was like, he was trying to say like, nah, you should keep going. You got the voice, man. And I was just like, nah, I'm not. I'm done,
so you were pushing against the people who you were working with at this time.
Pretty much a little bit.
Damn.
Yeah.
So you knew this was a path. That's really dope. Like that you saw that and you kind of like took this much of a step.
I always knew I wanted to do producing from young. I just didn't know how to do it. I just chose rap because I just knew I wanted to be in music.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then that was my way into music.
Man, that's really cool. I feel like rap is the gateway because I had somebody on who was a director and they said they started off as a rapper. And I mean, like myself, I started off, trying to kick freestyles over instrumentals. Yeah. But I found out quicker than a lot of people, not my lane at all, man. Nah. I figured out I'm not even the producer in this lane. Let me go ahead. I'm gonna interview everybody. But on some real shit, man, it's so cool that you've now found this lane and you're living inside of this lane. How was it when you made this turnover and you were like, now I got to push myself as a producer? That's far different than pushing yourself as an artist. Like an artist, you're the product.
Yeah.
With a producer, you have a product that you got to push.
Yeah. Like you were saying, this like my beats are playing in the speakers, and at that time, I didn't feel like I was good enough yet. And so I kept continuing studying and like I had to figure it out. Okay. It was like I know where
was this like YouTube homework or where were you learning?
I self-taught.
Okay, I just click every button.
I would just YouTube, Google, whatever I could learn, and just learning like where do this.
It's like how did they make that sound like that?
Yeah,
like Googling the craziest shit. How did Timbaland make his drums?
Yeah, like how do I find drums? How do I find these keys? How do I find
watching
these sounds?
a YouTube video trying to figure out how to get the plugins that you just got off Pirates Bay into the dig.
Pretty much, because this is the time. What's crazy is this is still a time period where nobody's really teaching this.
Yeah, I was about to say. So you're saying 2014? This is before softwares got even very easy to use.
This is like you go on YouTube and you watch Lex Luger make a beat, or Metro was doing it at the time.
And you got to watch their hands.
Yeah, that's
you
pretty much.
You got to actually see what they're doing. I remember that time because even DJs back in the day, because I loved DJing so much when I was a kid. I would be watching videos and I'm like, no one's got like a breakdown of how to do. You got to just watch them and be like, I think he changed the tempo right now. Okay, cool. I see what his hands doing right there on the fader. Yeah. Like it's crazy because I feel like 2000 into 2015 into 2016 is when everything shot. Like it was like everybody at their crib is now trying to make software. The companies are making software tailored towards people trying to make it at home. Like you don't really have to struggle and get a crack copy of nothing no more.
Pretty
much. It was a different time then. But you obviously got in the game before then, and I feel like there's people who different tricks when you get in before that time.
Yeah, a little bit. I'll say yeah. I still feel like people young, like a little bit in a past, have more tricks than me because they had to learn analog.
Oh, and analog, man, that's a different beast.
I came in still in the digital era, so there is certain things I could do, but it's still kind of the same software that these kids are using now.
Yeah. Because, I mean, like, analog, even though they try to replicate so much of it inside of these digital systems,
it's not the same.
You can't, like, there's no way you could get Earth, Wind, and Fire September to sound the same if you recorded it in digital right now. And I stand by that. Like, it's just that song will not sound as good if it's not recorded in real analog equipment. You hear that warmth, you hear the tone. It's got more grit to it, in my opinion.
Yeah, no.
But, like, it's a different beast. There's a reason why they made it easier.
Yeah.
Man, now, how was your beat creation process back in the day? Like, when you said you were making 50 beats at the crib in a night, like, what does it take for you to get some inspiration to make a beat? Like, when you're staring at this blank canvas on your digital, like, station on your computer, like, what does it take to, get a Wildlife beat off at that time?
My inspiration was just trying to get better with each beat.
Okay.
So like I just kept creating.
Each one was like we're just testing shit.
Yeah, pretty much. It's just trial and error.
And one of them might sound decent, so we'll send that one out.
And not even that. It'd just be like collecting. I was like, once the duo kind of disbanded, I like built a vault for like 2 years.
Damn. So like, was that kind of like a hunger thing? Was it like I just want to say that I have more. Like I want to say that I keep.
It wasn't even that. It was none of that. It's just me personally. Like I knew what I was striving for, so I just had a vault because I knew when I find a person, I'm here.
And you're saying that like it was you wanting to get better. Is that still in the way you make your beats today? Like do you feel like it's still a chase?
Oh yeah. It don't stop. It's still a chase. I don't think it's ever gonna stop because even with different genres, I started to expand on different genres, and
I was
it's
about
like
to
a
ask
different
that, like,
hunger now.
do you like do it like a genre? Then it's like, let me just master this genre, then let me go to this genre, and then let me try some shit in this genre.
Yeah,
because
pretty
like
much now.
it seems like never ending. It's almost like you could do this till you die if you really wanted to just keep perfecting your craft.
Which is probably
in every
gonna
area.
happen. I told people this, like, I'll probably end up like Dilla. Like, if I'm on my deathbed and I have like a disease, I need my computer. Yeah,
somebody give me my computer. I got an idea. I mean,
yeah.
Beethoven famously on his deathbed composed the violin concerto for his funeral.
Ooh,
that's how cold it was. He made his own track for his funeral. That's dope.
I might have to
like,
do that
man,
myself.
that's what I'm saying. Like, it seems like you trying to hit that route where it's like, yeah, bro, play this one when I'm gone. Like,
yeah, pretty much.
Man, that would be so crazy. Now, if that's the way you're producing back then, just that hunger, and you're saying that you're continuing that now, how is it now when I feel like at a time period where you're just trying to get better and you don't have as many, people, I feel like, placing your beats, what is it like now that you have beats that people have liked? Like, do you feel like now you're chasing yourself in a way, or are you trying to like get away from the sounds of the beats you already have given people? Like, how is it now that you're in circulation?
I'm trying to like kind of stop giving the same beats to people and try to experiment more and see like different pockets people can hit. And like, we heard you on this. Mm-hmm. How can we hear you on this though?
Yeah, I was about to say, so after you start getting more beats to more people and more people start rapping over your tracks, did that make you decide like who or what type you wanted to produce for? Or did that change anything about the process?
Yeah, it changed about like a lot of the process. I think I started being more like who I want and what sonically I'm doing with certain people and like who I want on these certain tracks now. Okay.
Do you sit down with like I want to make a song for this artist tonight, or do you just kind of let it flow from any direction it comes from?
When I make beats now, it's just like I hear a voice. So I already have my core people, and I'll just like, one beat will probably spark I kind of hear bro on this, or I hear the singer on this.
And does that help you in there, or do you find it as a hindrance sometimes? Because I can see how it helps, where you're like, okay, if I want to give it to this artist, then I need to add these type of drums. But like, does it hinder you in a way?
Yes, but I'm starting to get out of that.
Okay, how so? I want to know a little bit more about that.
Because then I started hearing people be like, why don't you send me this? Because this is hard. Mm-hmm. You gave bro this, I want this. Yeah. And I'll be like, I never heard you on this.
And it's I was trying to predict what you would like, and I didn't even predict it.
And so now I'm like, all right, I try not to give the voice thing in my head. Like if I do that now, I kind of do a random.
Well, if I can hear them on this, then I want this person's drums.
Yeah, I try to like, all right, let me give it to this person instead. Let's see what they do with it. Let's see what happens now.
And are you still on making 50 beats? I mean, when KO was on the show, he did say that you work like a madman.
I gotta give him an explanation on that. Yes, yeah. I was, but it kind of like in the past, I was gone for like 6 months. I was
so that's why you had 100.
Yeah, like I had a whole vault.
He said he literally was just looking through a folder you sent of 100 beats, and I was like, 100?
Yeah,
that is.
No, I gave him 100 beats, and I kept giving him new ones.
Like that's a crazy package.
But I had like a 300 vault thing for like 4 months because I just never was sending nothing to nobody, and then I was just like, he was the first. He was the first person to hit me back up. He caught like
the first hey bro, I'm out of the dark. Here's a whole bunch of shit.
Yeah, because I had been waiting, so I was like, here a whole bunch of stuff.
Dude, and I mean, like, I hope people who are watching can realize and recognize how crazy it is to create beats, like, because I mean, for us who are listeners, when an artist comes out with an album, people will start complaining at 20 tracks. And that's artists making 20 tracks after they've already cut 100. But then you have to think back to the producer. If the artist had 100 tracks they were cutting from and they got down to 20 or they got down to 14, how many did the producers have? Because it's just like, if each producer is throwing up like a Beyonce, throwing 50 beats at her, and every single person, that's so many tracks. And I feel like producers are making so much art all the time. You all are constantly making stuff. When I hear stories of people being like, yeah, that beat's like 2 years old, but bro said he liked it. Nobody wanted it for 2 years. Yeah. And it's like, that's crazy that you all make that much art, and I feel like it does not get recognized or appreciated enough.
I don't know, it just becomes like regular for us.
Because 100 tracks, that's several albums worth of music that you created.
But it's like I make 3 to 5 beats a day.
Yeah, so then the math should add up.
Yeah, the math, like, all right, yeah, like it adds, and then it becomes so regular, like it just becomes routine, and it just kind of like oh, I just have these many beats.
Yeah, I feel like that's the treating it like a real job thing. Like when artists say like I do 16 bars a day, it's like a producer doing 3 beats a day. Like that's you all taking this craft so seriously. And I mean, it shows so much in your work. To dive into a couple of these tracks now, man. Now you produced on one of the new singles for Asar.
Yeah.
I believe it was called Poker Faces.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was awesome. I want to know a little bit about how the production of that song went, like from a Wildlife perspective. Was that a track that, you know, you created months before, you just had it sitting there and then you played it for him, or was it something created in the moment?
No, Asar already had a like kind of pre-notion of what he wanted at that time, and then I kind of just vamp what he was trying to do, pretty much. Like,
so you work with artists in that way too, like they can come to you with an idea and you could just
that was the same thing with Elijah, with Shining,
I was about to say
and
Shining
stuff like
Woman.
that. Yeah,
that's the
Shining. That one, Shining Woman. That's the same thing. He kind of came up with an idea of like,
and you just go from that. Which way do you find to be more fun to work with? Do you like the process of working with an artist and kind of figuring out what their ear is already telling them, or do you like I sat alone and then I just play it for you?
I kind of sat alone kind of thing, because it's more of a trial and error and you can experiment more. Where that kind of I have in my ear, I kind of know what I want to do. It's cool, like I get it, but it's also like, oh no, I gotta kind of sit here for a while and figure out, like, to make sure it's what you need.
Yeah, because now it's a more collaborative process. Because I was about to say, this is a process you could do entirely alone and never collaborate with anybody.
Yeah,
but the fact that you do, that's really awesome.
And then, but I also like that because it's a challenge. It's like different. It's like a more, okay, now I gotta really sit here and figure out what you want.
Yeah, that's really awesome, man. It seems like you continually find the game within all of this that makes you better.
Yeah.
That's so dope, G. I love that, man. I love that. Now, we're getting to toward the back end of the interview, and I got some questions that I love to ask everybody who comes on the show because I get vastly different answers for all of these questions. But this one, from a producer's perspective, I'd love to know, what is your dream project? Money's not a factor. No artist is going to tell you, no, I don't want to do a feature. No producer is going to say, nah, I don't want to collab with you. Everything's a yes. There's no money involved. What's the dream project? This is only good for right now. They can't hold you to this in like 24 hours. What is it?
It'll drop eventually. I have the name and everything.
Okay.
But it's not the time. It's a funk album.
Oh, wow. Okay, so the dream project's funk. What's some of the like crazy features, like if you could get anybody that you would put on them?
I'm really thinking, who's still alive?
Who's alive from
you
that
know what, Bootsy Collins.
I was about to say Bootsy's still alive from
Bootsy
that era. George
Clinton.
George Clinton. He's still alive from that era.
Probably about those people.
I'm trying to think who else. I don't know.
Those probably the two.
Yeah, I was about to say from the funk era, they're also the two most prominent as well. Like you get a Bootsy feature, it's over with. Now, are there any producers you'd like to work with when doing this? Like, is there anybody who you'd like to collaborate with and get their, like hands on it and, co-produced by you or co-produced by them?
Besides the homies, Thundercat probably on some bass lines and stuff like that, because he has like a good funk kind of style thing.
Oh yeah, definitely. I didn't even think about that. Instrumentalist. See, you're a real producer. You're like, man, I need some people to come in and lay down instruments on this
keys,
joint.
stuff like that. I'm trying to think right now.
Yeah, you could get anybody. Who would you want, man? You could get anybody to come play these keys in.
I'm trying to think who's still alive. That's my problem.
It's like you got an old soul with you. You got a lot of people that you want from the past. I feel that.
If I feel like they're dead, I'm like, I don't know if they're still around.
Let's make it dead or alive then.
If I did dead or alive, I'd probably get Prince.
I was about to say, man, Prince was the one I was thinking of. I was like, man, Prince would go crazy.
And I'm trying to think funk wise, key wise, probably Jimmy Jam or something like that.
Oh man, come on. This would be a crazy project, G. And then, like, so you want to do a funk project? Would you only want funk on top of that, or would you incorporate different styles of like artists on top? Like if you had like vocalists, like what kind of vocalists would you put on this project? Like, would you keep it straight funk? Like they gotta come in with a funk vibe, or you want to like throw a rapper inside a track, see what they do?
It would be straight funk.
Strictly
like singer. Like
what's your attachment to the funk era?
I don't know. I just like that kind of like what I like. I've noticed, like I always gravitate towards that. When I go back and listen to stuff, I always go back to funk.
And what type of funk we talking? We talking like
Funkadelic.
Okay. We talking about the real shit, the Flashlights, Chocolate Cities. We talking about the real hits, P-Funk, bro.
Yeah.
Man, okay. Gee, that would go insane, man. This
Pretty
is a
much.
project I want to see. You got to do that one.
No,
I need the Wildlife Willy Funk project right there, G. Now, also, I do want to ask where the name come from, man. I love the alliteration of it, but
because it's
I'm
you,
curious.
I'm gonna really give you the real story.
Hell yeah, I need to know, man. I need to know.
So I was a rapper first, so that's that name.
Was it Wildlife?
No.
Oh yeah.
It was
What's the OG?
It was Ill Will era.
Okay.
I couldn't keep the name because DJ Ill Will was on Hot New Hip Hop, and Ill Will was
he
because of
on
Nas.
I was about to say Ill Will was on the front of all of my LimeWire tracks.
Yeah, and Nas too. Ill Will, his friend and stuff, was a DJ. He got killed.
Yeah, actually, I didn't even think about that.
And that was the other reason why I was like, I couldn't be that, so I became Castaway Willie.
Okay.
I was at the studio one time. I had just dropped out of school, and one of the engineers, but I was cool with him, so he was my friend. His little brother was in the studio. He asked me about like my life and stuff. I told him like how I just dropped out of school. I had a art class at the time, and funny enough, the art class was like at the time they would go in there. At the time, schools was not appreciating the younger artists, and like they would drop out and go do their art. Yeah. And I forget what era this is, but they would end up becoming the biggest thing afterwards, like the next art era.
Yeah, exactly. Like the people who dropped out and became the next.
Funny enough, once I heard that, I don't know why.
It was over with.
I grabbed my backpack and left.
Man, I'm telling you.
And my teacher was like, "Where you going?" And I said, "I'm making beats." And I left.
Man, I wish, man. I swear I had that energy every day, but I never got to the door.
I would have not done it. I'm not gonna honest. I would never advise nobody to do it. That was one of those.
It's like, look, don't do what I did, but I did it.
Yeah, I did it, but I would not advise nobody else to do that. That was kind of like a very impulsive, in the moment, impulsive.
But I mean,
moment.
so that led to Wildlife, though.
Yeah, and then so when I told him that, he was like, "Dang, that's wild. You should be Wildlife Willy." And then I was like,
clicked.
Yeah, I'm keeping that name, man.
It was like, yeah, we're gonna use that.
Yeah, we're using that. I changed my name.
We're getting tags, everything.
Yeah, and then 30 minutes later, I'm like, I'm Wildlife Willy, guys. They were like, wait, what? Yeah, that's my name now.
It's like, this is the name, this is over with, and then that one stuck. So you like that one the most.
And it felt like a transitioning phase from like rapper to producer.
Definitely.
It felt like Castaway was like the rapping thing.
Yeah,
and it
so
felt
it was
like
almost
Wildlife
like you
Willy.
saw your name in that same sense, but that didn't look like a producer name.
Yeah, and so Wildlife kind of was like more, all right, just that transitional phase of going into producing.
That's what's up, man. That's so awesome. That's such a dope story, man. Like, having a wild life is why. You know, I thought it had something to do with like animals or something. I was about to go, maybe. Too. Okay, true. I was like, maybe he got like a shit ton of pets.
No, I used to. I used to watch. Funny enough, what's crazy is it do kind of do with animals and stuff, because I used to go to like safaris and stuff like that, and like I used to watch Animal Planets a lot, and I know about animals.
You just know a shit ton about animals. Hey, that's actually really dope that it's got the dual meaning, because I was definitely like, maybe he like really wanted to, you know, do some Steve Irwin type shit. And he was like, well, fuck it, I make music, so we still gonna be Wildlife. That's dope as hell though, man. Now look, the last question that I ask everybody before they get out of here is, how do you keep up with your creativity, man? Shout out Feature Form. You definitely like are always working. So you work with Feature Form. Not only that, you also produce. You're saying you're making 3 to 4 beats a day. What do you do to keep up with your creativity, man? Like, it seems like you are always using it.
Just striving for more.
Okay.
And like knowing I could be better.
Okay, so you use the energy of knowing there's another level to get to. There's another
level, there's another ceiling I have to reach. I don't know if that's ever going to end. I think that's just how I operate. It's just like I have to be busy. Mm-hmm. And then even with genres, it's like there's another genre I have to get into. And
is that what you do when you like hit like a wall of producing? Maybe it's like, I can't think of a beat, and it's recently, like, just switch.
I could say that happened recently with rap. It's just like I'm kind of, not that I wouldn't stop doing rap, but it's like, I'm starting to listen. I know there's alternative music and R&B stuff, and it's just kind of like I'm into those genres as well, and I feel like I could do it. So I was just like, why not try to start going into those things?
Hell yeah, man. That's really dope. It's like you don't really need a break if you just keep always refreshing what you're doing. It seems like you kind of just make sure, it's getting stale. It's time to just try some new shit.
Pretty much.
Man, that's dope as hell, G. Now, look, thank you so much for coming on this show, G.
I appreciate you, man.
Like, man, I appreciate you so much for coming on this show. Every episode, I do an outro track, and since you're a producer, we can pick from any of these tracks that you've produced, man. So what track that you produced do you want them to hear that you feel, put everybody on the Wildlife?
You know what? The newest one, I'll start Poker Face.
Okay.
Because that's kind of like, I don't know, that like new tag, new everything. It
That's
feels
what
like
I'm
a
saying.
refreshing energy.
It's
Like I'm
the
about
refresh.
to come.
That's the wildlife we gonna put y'all along to. Now look, man, Poker Face is playing in the background. Thank you again, Willie, for being in the building today, man. Make sure you are playing this podcast for everybody, man. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Play this for your mama, your sister, your baby mama. Play it for your house after you leave, just so it can hear it when you gone, man. Play this for your pets. We're really big with cats, yo. So make sure you tune in next week for another episode of Miseducation and Music. And we out. Deuces.
Yeah. Every verse worth like a Mona Lisa. Might just grab Basquiat for the feature.